All right. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli wa sallim wa barak ala nabiyyina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. So folks, big evening today because a lot of folks obviously are kind of, the anxiety starts increasing. Let me put it like that. And it's a founded anxiety. And one of the things that we're going to be focusing on low-key, because obviously we have a lot of logistical things. There's a lot of things we need to focus on, and it's difficult to say this is the most important, this is the most important. It's the most repeated kind of phrase. This is the most important, this is the most essential. Everything is now important and essential. But the important kind of thing to remember is that we treat everything that is being told to you as important according to the ability that you have to give it that level of importance. And one of those is adhkar. Adhkar, the plural of dhikr, is one of the greatest hacks of all time. Because every movement, every cult, every religion, every movement throughout history has understood the importance of tone and humming and calm and meditation and the like, mostly to maintain stability. So when you see people that have sleep problems, the issue is not that they're disturbed by sound. The irony is that you put on loud white noise, which is deafening sometimes. It sends them to sleep. It's about rhythm and stability and maintaining a monotonous kind of calm, right? And you see the various different apps that operate on that. It's tapping into basic science. And so the way that our minds work, the way that our hearts work, we always crave stability, don't like change. And anything that can give that in an artificial sense helps people to be calm. In the wider society, that's all music, classical, blah, 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 blah. And it's a blessing that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and yet all of that is absolute nonsense. A lot of it is, a lot of it might have some haram aspects to it. Certain musical instruments, words, lyrics. So what a blessing that we, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with his blessing, have been given phrases that can calm a person down without getting too weird and too mystical, without doing Allahu, Allahu kind of madness, which is not acceptable. The Sharia always keeps us in. But the ability to be calm and to make adhkar, Hasbi Allahu la ilaha illahu, alayhi tawakkaltu wa huwa rabbul arshil azim. That enough for me is Allah. Hasbi Allah. And there is nothing worthy of worship except him. Right now, when a person is in need, you always turn to others. Turning to others and asking from them is an act of worship, right? The reason why it's allowed in the dunya, and I tell you, it's just something from an aqidah point of view. And this is part of, I remember last year someone saying, so where's the tarbiyah starting? It was actually after sales. I said, bro, the tarbiyah started 3 months before sales even went live. You're meant to be learning, watching, observing the team. You're meant to be learning, watching, and observing the helper Hajj from the previous year. You're meant to be listening to me and challenging me and seeing how I react in certain scenarios. The tarbiyah started. The knowledge has already started. And I'm going to mention now another point of aqidah. It's something very interesting how in our tradition, the importance of recognizing that every act that puts you under another person is a dangerous situation, because they are all technically acts of worship. That's why in the Sharia, it is generally, not specifically, generally discouraged and disliked to ask people of things, and that you should rely upon yourself. SubhanAllah, when you see what the scholars have said throughout the years and the 4 Imams and all of the early Muslims, when they explain the reasoning for this, is because of what it can lead to. It rarely happens, but the possibility is there, where you start to become dependent upon that person and you make that person, in your eyes, the one who is responsible for your safety, for your getting through, for your getting your visa, for your getting cured, for the operation going successful. And you start to forget about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, even if you are the strongest believer, because that's what's in your face, right? That's what's right in front of you. And that's why this point comes up most often in the area of medicine and medical treatment, and why there's this kind of like reticence to be promoting doctors and the like a lot. So anyway, at this time, to remind ourselves that it's only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that we're going to turn to and that we're going to make ourselves feel desperate to and whatever. And sure, we'll take help when it's offered, but let's not forget the game here. حسبي الله لا إله إلا هو عليه توكلت وهو رب العرش العظيم. He's the one that I'm going to put my trust in. I'm going to use you to whatever your charity is allowing, your ihsan, but he is the Lord of the mighty throne. You don't even have a throne, let alone a mighty one, the one that covers the entire as-samawat wal ard. So to keep ourselves calm, breathing, relaxing, avoiding hyperventilation, sounds a bit cuckoo right now. You'll see how important it is, especially on Sunday and now as well. Anyway, lots to cover. I'm going to jump straight in because because I don't want to lose my Nusuk login. I don't want to lose the Nusuk login. So and there's so much to say and do, and my head is all spinning. And I need to make sure that I don't miss out that which is important. So let's just make sure that, yeah. So there's the first thing I want to do is to show you the first development. There's been a couple of developments. First of all, the Hajj ministry has now gone officially live, officially stated that, yes, we are now going on Sunday at 10 a.m., right? Could that eventually become a later time? Possibly. If it crashes, you have to be ready before then. For the people in the UK, it's simple. After Fajr, you're not going to sleep. For the people in the States, it's tahajjud behavior, bro, right? And that's it. It is what it is. Now, I'm logged in, okay? Can you see that? Can you see the health disclaimer on screen?
Yeah, we can.
Or am I dreaming?
We can.
I have a feeling that my laptop has crashed.
Your video's frozen, Jay. The screen. I don't know if you're doing anything on screen either. Sorry, folks. Sheikh is having a little bit of technical difficulty. So I will be here to tell jokes. I'm only kidding. We're putting the name on and you guys will be in trusted hands. He doesn't know, but we're going to try to unmute him and he will take it away. All right. Okay. All right. Where it looks like we are having some technical difficulties. I know. I'm getting my by the way, if anyone doesn't know, my team is roasting me right now for the awkward silences. I thought I should let you guys know. It's actually totally, Sheikh does this without seeing any of you. And I got to say, this is a particularly good skill because I'm out here just speaking to a list of attendees. You guys are like, why am I listening to this guy? Why am I wasting my time? But the reason we're doing that is because I haven't been handed this situation before. Here we are. All right. And it's like a podcast now, isn't it? Everybody's just hearing this guy talk. While we figure out Sheikh or we figure out Naeem. Right. Now, let me give an update. Oh, who can't hear right here? Team, people are saying in the chat that they can't hear me. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you.
Yeah, you can hear you for sure.
That's not just me. I appreciate the feedback. Thanks. What should we talk about? Any topic? Team, jump in, guys. Let's actually, you know what? this is a good
Q&A.
opportunity right now. Yeah, let's just hop in. Let's do some Q&A. Anybody that's got Nusuk questions, registration package questions, I've got Musa Imran right now. Doing Q. All right. And Musa Imran, go ahead, unmute yourself. Musa?
Can someone confirm whether they can hear us then? So if there's
No, we've got. I think people were making fun of me. I saw Riz say Umair with like not supportive at all. Wow, look at that! I said Nusa questions. Everybody going at it. All right, so Musa, sorry, we're gonna come back to you. I got Zahir next. Zahir, bless us. I think they realize that it's not Sheikh, and they're like, why did I put my hand up for this guy? But listen, I'm not going to be answering. I'm just a host. I'm just an MC. I'll hand it off to the professionals. Don't you worry.
I think people want to see you, Amir. You have to put your camera
Is
on.
that it? Is it a camera thing? Is it a camera situation?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Let me figure that out. Okay. And we good? Am I on?
Yeah, you're on.
Sure, you sure?
Expecting the background to show, but here we are. Oh, everybody jump on. Everybody's jumping on. Are we jumping on? All right, so we tried Q&A, and no one wants to speak. Oh, hello. Zahir, walaikum salam. How are you, brother? How are you doing?
I'm okay. I'm all right, alhamdulillah. It's just a quick one. Obviously, I noticed the Sheikh's screen about the health disclaimer, and I've managed to take a screenshot and read it. So they're actually asking for us to acknowledge the fact that we are fit and healthy, and there's a number of questions that are on there about a person's overall health, and you've got to accept that to continue. So I'm assuming they're cracking down on this health thing now.
They are. They are going to crack down on it. But the level is something that we're dealing with. So that's what I wanted to announce. The two things is the confirmation of the date, and then they did an update a couple of hours ago where this is now brand new. If you remember in the Medical Matters webinar, I mentioned that this was not something as part of Nusuk. It was something that was from another country's requirements. But now they've decided to go general with it. They've kept it very vague. So we are going to take the worst possible reading from it, meaning that we've got two ways of looking at it, being as you can be as cavalier as possible and to treat it in a light way, which is very easy to do because clearly, look, I told you before, this is more politics than care, right? Mm. All of their questions on health in the what's it called? The application, the application, it asks you about disease and blood and whatnot. And then if you go down to the bottom, so it asks for all these questions, when put in the date of your surgery, put in a date of this, put in a date of that. Then at the bottom it says, we're hoping that your service provider is going to, give you a good experience. Like, say that you're not interested and you're just wasting everybody's time with this information. So it's a disclaimer thing. It's more political than it is religious. And that's important because some people will be saying, can I, accept it or not? And regardless, because I want to come. From my point of view, obviously I'm not a service provider, but I can tell you that I definitely care about you folks more than any service provider does. I have a duty of care, Islamic and physical, and so therefore you are not going to rush me and the team. We're going to spend at least the next 24 hours on testing this at the highest level if possible, to see what is allowed, what isn't allowed, what is acceptable, what isn't, what is risky, what isn't. And then we're going to release our guidance based upon the new health disclaimer. Does that make sense, yeah?
Yeah, it does. So basically, when we log on, we have to acknowledge it. So at the moment, don't bother logging on, is what your advice is. Because you have to acknowledge it to move on.
No, I think that's actually a really good point. Jazakallah khair, that's a really, really good point. Absolutely acknowledge it. Absolutely acknowledge it, because as you said, you can't even access the you're right. Yeah, everybody can acknowledge it. I told you it's not religious, it's a political thing. However, we are going to act by it. So you've acknowledged it, but when I give my then follow-up seminar at the end of the week, and I say, right, and I show it on screen, and I say, this is what you're not able to do, these are the folks who can't come, for example, then you're going to have to accept that. You get what I'm saying? Right. Okay, guys, we're going to try again. Let me just name. There's clearly something wrong here. It's not allowing us to unmute you. It's not even giving me an option, which is the most bizarre thing. So, folks, what we're going to do is just carry on now. So let me. I hope that I haven't been signed out of thingy. What a mission that was. By the way, my whole computer crashed. Sorry, it's a Mac. I didn't even know that was even possible. So if you look here, can you guys see that? Can you see the health disclaimer on the screen? And am I on the screen and am I working? Because
you're
good.
Yeah, I'm in the corner. I'm in the right corner and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, great. So you can see this on the screen. It is a new thing, and the message is none of us suffer from the following. And this very vague statement, failure of a major organ. And then if you look at this, heart failure, because there are many people suffer from heart failure, and it's very well controlled with medication. Very well controlled. I mean, look at the first one. That's a bit mad. Chronic lung diseases, or technically speaking, asthma is a chronic lung disease. You get what I'm saying? So there's a lot of statements that are putting it upon you to kind of commit yourselves. I like this bit more, right? They've kind of been a bit more strict with severe neurological and psychiatric diseases. Okay, so they've gone a bit further in. It's good that they said dementia. They made that a condition, but again, very soft. And if you look at this, high-risk pregnancy, they've just left it, right, at all stages, and pregnancy in the last 3 months. And this is a phrase that's going to need testing. What, 3 months starting from when? Hajj season, May 14th, our entry, this, that, whatever. So again, this is just a statement that's been thrown out, right? Thrown out. Infectious disease, that's just straightforward. People who have that disease, this is one of the reasons that we have travel insurance. This is one of the reasons why, if there's someone with COVID, responsibility would be that you wouldn't even be applying for it, okay, or even going. So let's say that you found out that you were under infection the night before. If it doesn't mean that you can join, you might need to take another flight out. That is a real thing, okay? Neurological diseases that affect movement or balance, as nonsensical as it gets. I get dizzy a little bit. If you have vertigo, this, that, what does it mean? Again,
if your video is frozen and you're still highlighted on the pregnancy in the last 3 months on the screen share. Oh, it's gone again, I think.
Yeah, he's gone.
All right, folks, me again. Hello. How we doing? Let's get back into that Q&A, okay? I think we can all agree that the lesson we're learning here is that Macs are on all that. I think we should probably, is that a Hajj approved message? I don't know. Take for that what you will.
It's definitely not.
Definitely not.
Just saying, as you can see, that speaks up, do you really want? Anyways, let's see.
I've opened the mic for Talib Hussein.
Sorry, then what'd you say?
I open the mic for Talib Hussein if he wants to ask a question.
Bismillah, Tariq.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, not anymore. Muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead, brother Talib.
Can you hear me now? Yeah, we can hear you.
Oh, right, thank you. Can you hear me there?
Yeah, we can hear you, brother. A bunch of people can hear you.
Right. Well, this morning I tried to top up the last payment on e-wallet. As soon as I opened the Nusuk, the health certificate came up, asking, there's 3 of us in this group, asking who's going or whatever. I clicked my name on it, and then my name disappeared from the list. Obviously, I started asking questions on the chat. At the end of the day, my daughter said she clicked on all 3 of us, and she said, don't worry about it. It will be okay. So that's the stage we were on this morning. All I did was open the Nusuk and went on to wallet, and the certificate came up with our 3 names on. So as soon as you click on my name disappeared from the list. So I didn't.
Is this in the disclaimer?
This is on the certificate. On the
Yeah,
page.
so Brother Talib, Sheikh Abu Isa, once he comes back, he will discuss this at length.
All right, okay.
So I would
was
say
just
just sit tight
Yeah.
and keep listening. He will cover this in a great amount of detail today. Okay.
Yeah,
Inshallah.
because
But everyone has got that. I just want to let you know, everyone has got that message, and it seems
Right.
you can't. It seems you can't move forward until you acknowledge it.
Yeah.
So
You got to
so
acknowledge
it seems to be a very recent update, and
Yeah.
Sheikh
It's
Abu
just
Isa
that,
will.
yeah. It's just that when your name disappeared and the other 2 names are on, you think, bloody hell, what happened here?
It's a new addition, and I think what we've
Right.
seen as far from everybody is that once Nusuk makes an update, a lot of things glitch out. So just give it some time, and then Sheikh will also come and address the disclaimer as a whole. Okay.
I just got a message from daughter who's been with you on Hajj. She says, don't worry about it.
Yeah, exactly. Listen, it's kind of like when you call IT support, and the first question they ask you is, "Did you restart it?" It's like that with Nusuk. Just give it time; it'll sort itself out. So, for those also, by the way, for anyone else asking or has their hand raised for the disclaimer blanket statement, it's a new addition. Nusuk is going to be challenged with it. We're going to be challenged with it, but Sheikh will be talking about, as he was right now, going point by point. He'll come through and he'll talk about the disclaimer, how we should be reviewing it, and how we should action. There he is. He's back here now, but the disclaimer will be reviewed in detail. So whoever is asking questions about that specifically, Sheikh's going to go through that. If his Mac doesn't crash again, by that point he will go and get a PC. I think that's all. That's what we take away from this as a group, Sheikh. That's what we all deduced and then decided. Other than Danish, of course, but you can't win them all.
What you guys don't realize is I have, mashallah, tabarak ar-Rahman, because all you Pakis are putting nazar on everything that I do. I have the boards, like within, see this now? I'm touching my PC. This is me touching my laptop. This is me touching my PC. My PC is a 3-screen beast, gaming, blood, beast dog, yani, mashallah. But we found that it's more stable to use a laptop, and this is a Mac Pro, blah blah, mashallah, or whatever. It's clearly a Telegram problem, and so I'm just letting you know what the plan is now, folks, because we can't do that again. Every time I go to share, the MacBook crashes. I've been using it all day, by the way, just so that you know, and video conferencing and calling, just the last few things as well. And so what we're going to do
maybe
now,
one of the team members can share their screens. Those, I mean, I think that should work too, right? That way you stay on.
You know what? You're right. Why don't we try that? You know what? What I was about to say is that we're going to move over to WebEx, right? And we're going to post the link in the channel. But then that means everybody going in there. If you don't have the app, you got to download the app. If you're on a mobile phone, if you're on a computer, then it will open up on the browser if you tell it to. So if this doesn't work and it crashes again for whatever reason, and there does seem to be something between my account and Telegram, but as you saw in the sisters session yesterday, this is actually Telegram's strongest point and its weakest point. The reason it's above WhatsApp is because it allows you to do that, but the problem is that it doesn't allow you to think. So Naeem, you're gonna hold fire on the just wait on the WebEx link. Don't post it just yet. One more time, guys. We're going to thingy. So who's gonna be Danish? Are you? No, you said you had meetings or thingy, isn't it? So who's gonna? Where's Maysara? I don't know. I think Maysara is gonna have to be the only one that I can really. Yeah, do you want to do this? Yeah, you're gonna get your thing on the. So what you need to do is to log in to Nusuk and then just start sharing the screen, and we'll just go through the 304, 305, and 307. Yeah?
Just give me 1 second, yeah.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute to get that ready. And what will happen is that Maysara will essentially be my extension. I will be the audio. Let's see if it works. Again, if it doesn't work, and in the chat, make it clear to the team that we can't hear anything, audio's gone, video's gone, whatever, then we're moving straight to the WebEx to do this presentation. Okay, that's the plan. Now back to the issue of the what's it called, the health disclaimer. As I said, it's very vague, and it's them covering themselves, and I do not consider it to be a religious aspect that if you weren't exactly as they say, then you're not going to get the Hajj. No, not at all. And to that point, I want to say to you that it is permissible and allowed for all of you to accept and acknowledge it, even if you look at it and think, well, hold on, that's me. It doesn't matter now, because it's blocking you from even configuring, checking, planning, and whatever. And you're going to acknowledge it and then enter and carry on doing what you're going to do, because what you're waiting for is for me to give you the exact ramifications. So, okay, those ladies who are in this condition, you're going to have to reconsider. And those people, so, we're going to translate it. At the moment, it's just gibberish, but then we're going to translate it, inshallah, in a more practical fashion. What we're saying, okay, yallah. So take over the controls and share screen.
Can you see that?
Yep, I can. So, folks, obviously, Maysara has accepted the disclaimer, and that allows her to come into this. Now, we're not going to speak about configuration. We have a video for those who are first time. Then in our channel, there is a guide on how to configure and play around with the packages and the like. Very simple and straightforward. I've already done a presentation on our packages 304, 305, and 307. I don't need to spend any time on that. The main thing about today's session is to prepare you that in the next X minutes, right? Meaning at the end of this meeting, basically, we are going to release our strategy form. And the strategy form is going to come in the form of the bot. And the bot is the same Telegram bot, our one, the Hajj with AE 2026 bot, that you entered through to get into the channel. It took a little bit of basic information, but it was very important what it took, because it recognizes you. And it's going to ask you a number of questions. So as soon as this video finishes, we are going to release a video guide to that bot on how to answer it correctly, because how you answer it is going to determine what you are then recommended and allocated according to our calculations. So in summary, let's jump into a package, just do a 304. So yeah, let's empty the cart first. Always remember that you got to empty a cart before you start looking to do another one. And I've been telling you guys to practice and stuff like that. It is important. Look at the ways that you can do this. So 304, it sometimes brings it up. It's too vague. Sometimes you got to put Anjum. Try the 304 Anjum. There we go. All right, you got it there. Great. So let's enter into 304. Let's get straight to the flights. Everything else is all normal. You've all been practicing about, this kind of situation. You all know by now by heart. Just, yes, okay, it's okay. Let's carry on, stay there. So you're going to accept Muraisim. This is not a Majar al-Kabsh thingy. Again, I repeat, it's not Majar al-Kabsh. Here that you can see right now, this is getting you ready for the, it's good for you to see this. Again, a reminder that the order is messed up for whatever reason completely. So if you look, the program starts at the bottom in Medina. So the Movenpick Hotel is giving you the option of double, triple, and quadruple. And I'm telling you that across the board, meaning we don't have an exact detailed number. And I'll be honest with you, even if I did, it would be irresponsible of me to tell you that, because it would get in your head. And that's where the trust comes in. You understanding that not all information, and you know how big I am on information and transparency, but I also know from a Sharia point of view and from a leadership point of view that you don't tell absolutely everything, because it can cause uncertainty, too many decisions, confusion, and whatever. So even if I knew the exact breakdowns of exact how many flights are on that flight, exact how many seats are upon that gateway, exactly how many quad rooms in this particular package, I am telling you right now, I wouldn't tell you. It would only mess your head up. Leave the allocating to us. When you don't get through in phase 1 because the strategy was followed, but the country quota ran out. And again, I repeat to you, this concept, this idea of public enemy, we created this idea in 2024, sorry, the idea of your enemy. In other Hajj groups, they don't do enough to teach you that it's not your fellow Hajji who's your enemy. The reason that the vibe in this group is what it is not because they're just more, and generally, obviously, they're more practicing people. There's a younger crowd in this group. They're more aware. They've come from more kind of study backgrounds, recommendations. There's a general higher level of practicing this. And you know better than I do that going to Hajj does not make you particularly religious. And many very irreligious people go to Hajj and they don't make any difference to them. And they come back and they're as banal and mediocre as they were from before. Just one of those things. All right. Alhamdulillah, we're extremely fortunate. You know, we get all of the great praises, this program and this group, but people forget that that's because we're getting a much higher quality of people. We're getting a much higher quality of people that are entering in, right, into the program in the first place. And so the idea that that we trust our people to have the right kind of mindset is something which does not unfortunately exist elsewhere, where it's a more of a commercial kind of approach, where it's more of a, you know, whoever we get through the door. It doesn't matter the level of their kind of quality of deen or whatever they are. It's not something that we don't, that, you know, that's important to us, fundamental to our you know, our business model or whatever it is. And therefore everybody's just going for whatever. Here, people recognize that it's your part of very much another program, and you got to play your role, and you got to be disciplined, and you got to obey, and that's not what you would do in normal other places. And because of that mentality, you will do what's needed in order for the program to succeed, recognizing if the program succeeds, you succeed, right? And so this is the only program that we could give you a specific instruction and trust you to go with it. And that's giving you a lot of information, but also holding some back. When we tell you that it's not your fellow Hajji that's going to cause a problem, because we're going to try to control that by only putting a certain number in that package and on that bed size and on that flight, right? Only a certain number. And so therefore, we are minimizing your fellow Hajji to be your enemy. Your enemy, especially because we are not Majar al-Kabsh. There's a lecture on that later tonight for those who want to stay up to it. Recording will be available tomorrow. Majar al-Kabsh is a camp next to Jamarat, 5,000 people. Mu'aysim is 42,000 people. So the Mu'aysim camp quota is not going to be your enemy. If you are taking a Majar al-Kabsh program, which you shouldn't be in this presentation then that also becomes your major enemy. It becomes your public enemy number one, when public enemy number one generally for everybody is the country quota. You are fighting against a country quota. And it doesn't matter where you are, but you are under either in Canada, 1,200 or whatever, in UK, 3,600 or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Later on, country quota is not your problem. And so our job now is to focus on country quota. Other people's, they've got Majar al-Kabsh problem, country quota problem, and a Hajji problem. And they've not sent any communication training them, telling them, building trust, because what is the trust they're going to build with them in the first place? Where have they been? Who are they even? People don't even know in other groups who their guides are. Where are they, right? We have been right in front of your face from before this game started, during the game started, getting you into the game. We'll be there, and you'll see us on the other side as well. That's the difference. I'm not saying that makes us special. I'm saying that it's a bit difficult to not trust us. You get my point? So the things that you're seeing us do right now and tell you to do is to maximize your chances against the country quota and to allow you to check out quickly. So I'm going to show you something which is possible. You would have seen this in Arif's configuration video. If you look at what Maysara can do now, we start in Movenpick and she chooses a quad. And she says to herself, you know what? Yeah, that's what the Sheikh said. Let's go with quad. But you know what? Let me go and look at Makkah. Oh man, I can only do in Azizia. I can only do a quad. So okay, I'll do that. But I tell you what, wouldn't it be great in the Haram to do a cheeky little double? Let's see if that will work. And you press it, and voila, it works. Right? That's what individuals will do. Those that are not part of a program. This allows you to check out. Now, there's two things that I want to bring to your attention. We still do not know whether the system will allow you to check out like this. Full disclosure, last year it didn't. Okay, so it started off like this, allowing you to choose different types of rooms at each level. It started off like that. When I say different rooms at each level, I mean in your Haram Makkah hotel stay and in your Medina stay, it allowed you, just like you saw right now, to select a quad and to select a double, select a triple, select a whatever you wanted. Okay. Then they realized what a ridiculously stupid move that is, and then they closed it. Voila, 2026 comes, nightmare. The first thing we know is it's allowing people to select it again. We're now 4 days away, 5 days away, however many days, and it's still there. I have a feeling that they're going to go live with this. Now, this will be a nightmare for those people and service providers and everybody. And I'll tell you how and why. First of all, I still have no faith in the system. I think that you doing it, like, going a double and a quad, right, could actually not allow you to check out. In my head, there's something that's telling me. Let's assume best case scenario that it does. I gave you the analogy in the last webinar, right? I gave you the analogy, and honestly, as analogies goes, it's the best analogy I've ever given, right? MashaAllah. I never thought that I could express it so well. You got to think of the way that this algorithm is operating. That when you make a selection of anything, it's choosing that selection from stock. So when you say, I want a double bed, I want a flight on Qatar from Manchester, I want to use the UK allocation, I want to stay in the Mu'asim camp, okay? I want a wheelchair, I want Qurbani, which is called Adahi, right? Just off the bat, yeah, that's 6 kind of decisions that you're making, okay? Now, I want you to know that when you've gone through and you've chosen all of your little different options, when you press checkout, what's actually happening? If we used a human example, I want you to, if you've ever been to, the best way of looking at this is Screwfix. If you've ever been to Screwfix, which is a big DIY hardware store for the Americans who are listening, similar to your kind of, what's it called? I forgot the big one in the US, but there is one that's on top of tip of my tongue, massive one. But the UK Screwfix. What happens is that you give your order in at the counter. You say, I want some spray, I want some WD-40, I want some screws, I want this, that, whatever. And what happens next? Then that guy then goes, and you can physically see him. He goes to the warehouse and he picks that up, and then he goes to the other one, and because the warehouse is the counter, and he picks that off the shelf, and he picks that off the shelf, and he picks that off the shelf. When you have requested 6 items, what he's opening the door and into where the double rooms are kept. And he goes, do we have a double bed? Yep. Oh, well, we're good. Okay, then. Then he goes into the Mu'asim camp and he says, right, do we have space? We've got 40,000. Okay, that's good. Then he goes into the Qatar Airlines flight and he's told we've got 300 seats. We've got 500 seats. Ah, that's great, man. There's plenty in there. Then he goes into the country quota, right? And the country quota says that we started off with 3,600. And right now at this live kind of count, we've got about 2,000. We're good, right? You are putting all of those scenarios in. Now use your own common sense, right? If you add extra work on that guy running around, you are only complicating and elongating the process. You might say, what are you talking about? What a stupid example. This is AI, this is internet, it works at 0.0001 seconds. That's what you think. In practice, we have seen the difference. We're the ones who've done it now 3 years in a row, right? We've seen the difference in checkout times between a person, even on sales day, where everything gets multiplied by 100. We've seen the people have a difference when they go for quick, easy options. All of you now in your head, after playing around with Musafir, now know that ideally, I want to get a group flight. Why on earth would you do that? You know, the beautiful irony, of course, is that a couple of weeks ago when we did this demonstration, people were like, why do you want us to take the group flight? Look at the Musafir price. It's 5,000 riyals. It's half the price. Now the only complaint that you're hearing is, have you seen how expensive the Musafir flight is? Classic example of, you've got to trust us when we're telling you. At that time, we said that, guys, this flight price that you're looking at, because people were like, what? Why are these group prices so expensive? These Hajj providers are making all the money, or whatever. The service providers are making all the money. No, it's just a simple factual statement that they've secured the price, and these guys are going to play you like every search engine does. And every trick that you know, too many searches, lots of traffic, popular dates, is going to rocket that price. However, saying that, let me tell you something. And let me also continue that people also saw a few glitches, a few this, a few that, and they realized, you know, who's got the time for that? I'll just press the group flight and that's it. The example of the guy going to the room and getting a custom flight made is clearly longer. Now he's starting to settle the idea of give nusuk minimum things to do, treat it like a child, speak to it like a child, right? Really slowly and loudly with minimum long words like that. And that's the one who is most successful. At the same time, brothers and sisters, there will not be a 100% supply of group flights. There will not be, there will be things that will be happening. So I'm going to announce two things right now, okay? And I hope that either Jeeves or someone is just noting this down, because I want to release it as bullet points afterwards. The first, some really good news for the Australians, really, really good news, is that we made an amazing mistake in understanding the price of the flight. The flight we've put up as a price of 19,000 riyals. And for some reason, I looked at Emirates and I thought, Ras, man, that's exactly what it is. That's crazy. It's actually 9,500 riyals. So it's half the price. So that's 2,000, that's like 3,000 Australian dollars saved right there. There are people that already mentally accepted that price. What an amazing result to get $3,000 off your package immediately. So that's an important development, and that will be updated soon on the brochure. The second thing is that the French flights in 305 that we're going to show you in a minute are going to be taken down. And the French flights were never intended for the people of France. Okay, so this is the reality of nusuk. Okay, this what was happening right now, and I don't even know whether Umair is, mashallah, I don't know who's telling me anything, but on my own screen, I don't know. I have absolutely no idea that whether you're seeing me or not.
I mean, well, the updates are there. You're good. Your video is good. Screen share is good. It's all good.
Am I on screen? Because I kind of feel that I need to make this point very. Huh?
The screen share is still on, so the screen share is pinned for most people. So they would need to unpin it, or Maestro needs to stop sharing if you want to come back on screen.
No, I don't want to come full on screen. I'm saying, am I in the corner as I normally am?
Yep.
So I want for folks to realize that the French flights were never intended for anyone from France, because we are not a French-speaking program, cannot cater for the French at all. The French flights were an option at a cheaper rate for people from the UK and other European countries to go to. Good arrival times, really good prices, and including the flight to get to, it was just another group flight option. I want you to understand that, right? Large, probably 100, 200 seats in there. And it would have, you might not get your London, you might not get your Manchester, but then, okay, you know what? I'm going to get a connecting flight. It's the same as just another layover, isn't it? Right? Okay. So we get a flight there because it's a group flight. It checks out. It's worth it. It's absolutely worth it. All right. You might think, no way am I going to do that. I'll tell you right now, after phase 1 finishes and you didn't get a place and you got stuck on XYZ, your whole perspective will change. And you'll be like, yeah, you know what? That's what I need to do. So I put to you that the way that you will look at flights will change. And if we continued along that line, we would have had a minimal dependency on Musafir, because we would have had these group flights. We have a Vienna group flight, okay? It's really good to fly to, okay? And not as part of our strategy, not through phase 1. Phase 2, that flight takes on a life of its own. There's a lot to come in the phases. There's a lot of strategy that we're trying to work out to maximize people. And we're not stupid. We know that you don't give a person as a first choice, and people who are living in the UK, we're sending you to Vienna. That's ridiculous. We're not that stupid. We're going to be telling you things you might not have wanted. You might have looked at a flight and said, hold on, that's now asking me to pay another 500 riyals. I'll say, bro, that's what the random system came up with. It's up to you whether you want to go with it. And you say, you know, 100 quid, $100 to give me a better chance of getting my place, I take that. If I say to you, listen, I know you wanted to go to Manchester, but you're going to London. Or I know that you wanted to go to Stansted, but you're going to Heathrow. It's palatable. I want to go at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, but you're sending me at 11 in the morning. It's palatable, right? Go to Vienna, not palatable. Not in phase 1. When I tell you in phase 2, go to Vienna, you say, Bismillah, tell me where to sign. That's the difference in knowing experience and strategy, and that's all to come. However, putting these European flights on because there's so few flights available. That's why Musafir will be able to charge what they're charging, because the world and its mum are using those dates and traveling. I mean, it's only use your own aql, and there is a limit, isn't there, right? For the world and for the West to use. Otherwise, Nusuk, and they're not that stupid. The ministry are not that. Otherwise, they would have given us 36,000 visa capacity and said, open it up. Where would the flights come from? How are we going to get there, right? So I want you to know that the presence of European flights and flights that aren't otherwise attractive were important group flight options to avoid using Musafir. And I keep saying avoid using Musafir like as if it's a leper or the plague. It's not as bad that you may think. And when it works, then the ease and the price saving is great, but it should be a clear second choice, right? Or it's only a primary choice if you do not have an immediate group flight. Now, that was a long kind of introduction to a point that I want to make. In 305, this package is going to come down in the next 24 hours. Don't panic when it happens. And 2 main reasons, which now we're kind of giving up on the first reason, which is to remove the Majar al-Kabsh option so that people don't make that mistake. That was going to apply to all 3 of the programs, but it seems like it's not going to happen. But the second new development is that we will be removing the Paris and Lyon flight. I'm telling you now in advance so that you're ready for that. And those folks that are going to be affected by it, you message me directly, right? It'll be very, very few people. In fact, I already know who's was planning to use that from France, I mean. And you might say, why is it doing that? Now, normally I would say, none of your business, just carry on. But I will tell you why. Because a French agency is going to load it with a whole load of French folks. And we have no control over that because of the presence of the Paris and Lyon flight. And other agencies doing other kind of stuff on whatever, the dark arts and whatnot, it doesn't affect us. It won't affect us in any way, especially in the UK or the US, because we're in control. Whatever they say, whatever they do. France is a different ball game, and their Muslim community, different ball game, different creation, different set of cultures, standards, everything, but also different numbers. Like they have the ability of really affecting our strategy, and let alone the vibe and the Joe and the mood in the camp. And we tried to ask them, and I want to thank some of the Hajjaj in the group that have been doing that kind of, helping us try to kind of, convince them they don't realize, they don't accept the idea that they can't go on this program. It's not for them. And on one hand, I can't blame them, because in 25 and in 23, the system was actually, each package would have would go out seen by everyone, and then flags would show that this is particularly suited for you. And the clue would be that there would be a group flight. And so they're probably living in the same 2025 system. Then they're forgetting that it's a 2024 system. Number one, the ministry has made it impermissible to show flags. They made it impermissible for you to try to specify kind of areas. And also, a group flight is there from Paris and Lyon. They'd say, well, why the hell is there a group flight here? And then I'm not meant to use it. Don't be stupid. Of course I'm using it. And that's exactly what their response has been. And we're now in a pickle. And the only thing that we can do is to ask the service provider to take the flight down, which is a nuclear option, right? It's an extreme option that I'm not proud of, I don't like, but it is what it is. And so that's going to happen. Doesn't change anything. Anyway, back to the point here. Well, the reason that this whole conversation started is that you giving too many decisions in your configuration, like we've just chosen double here and quad there, is A, going to minimize your chances of getting out quickly. B, possibly maybe not even allow you to go. But the worst is that you will pay for a double, which, okay, I get it. There's very little price difference between the two, right? But you're going to pay for a double, and I'm telling you now 100% guaranteed you are not going to get that double, because the rooming contracts will not allow that to happen. Nusuk is claiming it, but the contract is the contract, the hotel contract. It only has a set number of rooms. So you will pay more and you'll still get quad. I.e., what I'm saying is, as you're going to see now, remove the double and stay consistent with quad and quad all the way through. And when we say consistent, by the way, that doesn't mean, so if you do double, then you stick to double. And I want you to show that, Maysara. So you choose double and you stick to double because the, what's it called? When we say stick all the way, we do not mean in Azizia. In Azizia, you will be always in a quad. All right. So don't, when I say the same, I'm always talking about Mecca and Medina. So that's another reminder to you of the importance of understanding system. Do not mix and match. There is another thing that I'm also going to say. Just take it up a little bit. And I'll use the Anjum as an example. If you look at the room double, triple, quad, if you are a family of 5, you do have the option of pressing double twice and triple 3 times, and therefore taking 1 double room and 1 triple room. I want to say to you that this does work, okay? When there's multiple members in the family, from what we've seen last year, right? I want to say to you that our official guidance back then from the experts, and I've got to tell you that moving forward, I believe that advice and guidance to be true, is that that's another point that slows it down. Because especially when you're taking from a small group, so that quadruple, we've got about 600 places. You're always in the safe when you're going for quadruple. And that's why you'll see many of you, when it comes to strategy, are going to be pushed to quads. And there's only 100-something doubles in the whole group. That's people. That's not rooms. That's half of that is the rooms. And then we've got about 90 or 80 something that can fit in triples. If you have more people going for the smaller capacity store, you're going to obviously slow yourself down, take a bigger risk of the guy coming back and saying, so in the analogy of the guy going to the shelf, when he turns around and says, oh, you know what? We don't have a triple. What are you going to do now? Let's imagine he's right at the back of the flipping alley, in the warehouse. He comes all the way back and you're watching him. It's so painful. He's walking towards you and he's dawdling. You're looking at his hands. He doesn't have anything in his hands. And he comes to you and he goes, yeah, you know what? Sorry, we don't have a triple. Then you'll say, man, you could have shouted it at me from there. I would have said to you, okay, check the double, right? Look in the other flipping room, right? But he's going to come all the way back here. And he's going to stop, he's going to take a phone call, he's going to take a sip of coffee, and he's going to then dawdle all the way back and then check the double again. I know it's a crude kind of, example. It is an accurate representation of sales day when it's going out. And so every time that you change and swap things out, you're creating another level of delay. Please understand that, okay? And so I know that you might have the perfect family unit of 5, or you might have the perfect family unit of 6, a mom and dad, and then 2 brothers and 2 sisters. And what would happen with this 6 people, right? So let's imagine you've got 2 brothers, 2 sisters, you've got a family of 6 going, and you've got a mom and dad, right? You say, let's treat mom and dad and give them a double, and we'll all share the quad back like back in the good old days, and we'll all share the room, and you get all that kind of nostalgic, and that's fine. And so you have now gone and created a problem for yourself in that the system is going to have to check double and check quad capacity. It's another quota capacity that you've entered into. When it comes to Medina, you might get that. Mecca, you might get that. And in real life, and then when it comes to Azizia, it's going to be then everybody goes into fours. So dad and the two brothers will go into one quadrum, and then one further person from the rest of the group, a male, will join them. And then mum and her two daughters, the two sisters, they're going to go into another quadrum in Azizia, and another sister from another, from the rest of the group will join them. That's what will happen, because all of the Azizia, all of the program from after Mecca onwards. So we leave the 21st of May, as you can see on the screen. After the 21st of May, everything is gender segregated. It starts off in Holiday Inn, it carries on into Mina, and then it carries on into Arafah, and then back to Mina, and then back to the Holiday Inn when you're then there during the days of Mina, and then after days of Mina. It is all gender segregated. So I just want you to be aware as well, for people who are really going to go all the way out for a double and a triple, unless you absolutely need it, I repeat to you, please go ahead. We still have to get rid of those spaces as well, right? But know that it's only going to be for about 7 nights, of which you're probably only going to see 6, depending upon the arrival times. That's across Mecca and Medina. Very little sleeping time in them. And then you're going to be having to be split up anyway. So some people will say, well, we'll start from the beginning. Might as well. And a question that keeps coming up is that, are we going to have the same people in our quad room in Medina and Mecca? Will it be the same? That's not actually necessarily the case. And I'll tell you why. Just use your own kind of judgment here. A lot of the time we will. But you've got to remember that there's a whole load of people in doubles and triples who need to be now making quads. And you might say, well, that's easy. Then just put them into new quads. That's what the theory says. But we need to then mix and match a little bit. And so some of the rooms will be kind of swapped up a little bit. People will be moved around a little bit. No major, guys. No major. All right. So we've now chosen, let's go all quads. Please, Maysara. So we've gone quads all the way through, and we come down to the bottom, and now we've got the flights. One of the things that I really like hearing people is their irritation at the washing machine of the this round thing.
I need to log in again because
is it too long? Yeah,
fast off. Yeah, so let me
I don't think it has. Has it actually kicked you out? I think it's.
I can't go next.
That's what you think. I'm gonna laugh my head off, Maysara, if you're being impatient against Nusuk, bro. As I'm trying to make it clear, don't be impatient against Nusuk. You want to refresh, bro? Just admit it. Just admit it. There is this little khinzib here who's whispering to you, saying, "God, refresh."
No, but I think I've been on this session for half an hour, so I don't know if this is part of them.
Oh, you know what happens? You know what happens is a box comes on the screen and says that, do you want to, and your time's running out, do you want to extend the session? So it gives you that option. It doesn't normally, if I remember correctly, just automatically log you out. It does give you a little warning. Do you want to stay here?
I've seen that box and I've clicked on extend session. It doesn't do anything. It just keeps, countdown just keeps, So the extend session doesn't work.
All right, guys, I just want you to know that you must not do what Mesa is about to do. All right? Which is lose her patience and whatever. In fact, honestly, while we come off screen, you can just take me off screen if you wish, or you can do the whatever. Guys, I cannot emphasize enough the doubt that's going to enter into your system where you are in that scenario and nothing is happening. And you will absolutely be like, right, it's stuck. And someone is going to comment in the chat and they're going to say, I pressed the back button and it worked. Or I pressed the back button on the, so there's multiple back buttons. You've got previous, which is inside Nusuk at the bottom, previous, that goes back to the previous screen. And then you've got the back browser button. When we start getting towards Friday and Saturday, that's when we're going to start loading you with that information, which is called Nusuk technique. The various things that you want to do in terms of what browser and whatever. So the problem is that we have so much information to tell you, but we have, from our experience, seen that it gets too much at the wrong time. So we do think that Chrome, the browser Chrome, is the right one to go with. We do think that having multiple devices does not help. You must not use a VPN. we do think that Gmail is a help in understanding something from the OTP chaos. We will show a way for other email clients how to get around that problem. We will describe what the problem is. So far, some of you have seen it. So normally you know that when you apply for the OTP, it comes to the email and you're just there. And what are you normally doing? Very few people are watching the screen, right? You keep pressing refresh, 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 and then suddenly it appears and you just jump in and you get it. So what's going to happen on sales day is that you're going to be sitting there. 1 minute goes past, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and you now don't know where is the problem. Now, you know that if you go back to the Nusuk page, which has just taken an hour to get into or half an hour to get into, you were there signed in at 9 o'clock in the morning, and then suddenly what will happen, and we'll share the screen, we'll share the shots on the broadcast to get you ready. Don't worry. Okay, like I said, everything in its right time. We have far bigger priorities in the next 3 days before I show you this, but I will show you a screen that you will see between 9 and 10 or between 9:30 or 9:45 in the morning. I'm talking about UK time. If we're assuming a 10 a.m. start, 9:45, 9:30, a screen will come. It's a holding room screen and you won't be able to do anything. And it's saying, hold your place here. And as long as you remain there, then at 10 a.m., suddenly it will show the Nusuk screen. Very few people will get to see that, relatively. Very few people will get to see that, relatively. And this is now put you at the forefront and pole position of what happens next. But it's not done. Whilst you now see the screen, another 20,000 people will still be watching that holding screen, but you're into the Nusuk login screen. You'll then do the, tick the button or whatever it is and press whatever. A new thing's going to come up. It'll be a captcha. You know that captcha nonsense about click the flipping stairs and the roads and all that bakwas. Yeah, so you're going to have to get expert at that. And you mess it up and then you have to do it again. It's horrible, right? And then you press OK and you send OTP. Now you've got the thing saying sending. Now what happens is that you go to the email, nothing coming through. You're thinking 5 minutes have gone. You come back to the Nusuk screen that you're very fortunate to still be in, and it says, 5 minutes countdown. Then it goes 3, 2, 1. And then it says, then the button comes up, resend code. And what do? You press it. You press it, and it now starts a new code system. Now you go back to the email, still nothing. And then about 2 minutes later, code comes. So it's thick. Go in, grab the code, put it in, code expired. Why? It was a code for the first 5 minutes. We're already now 9 minutes in. We're already at the back end of the second code. You think, all right. You go back to the email, hoping that the second code comes. Of course it doesn't. Of course it doesn't. And then what happens is that you go back to Nusuk screen, and now 10 minutes have gone. The button suddenly appears. Do you want us to resend the code? And you're thinking, oh. And then you can't resist, and then you press it. Code comes. And now you're thinking, I know you. I know. And this is the nonsense that's going to happen. Normally what happens is people are pressing it multiple times, and a whole load come. Now, there is a way of identifying which code in your email inbox is relevant and appropriate to the request on Nusuk. And it's a coding thing. And can you believe that we're going to have to teach you how to decode? On Gmail is really easy. When you select show original message, if you might have seen that or not in your email, but there's an option to show you the fully kind of blurb version. Shows all the HTML code, blah, blah, blah. And if you look at the original message code, it will show you a code and length of time that will identify that this one was requested only X seconds ago. If you see that, then you know that's the code I want. You can then get that code, put it in, boom, you're in. Look at the levels of strategy just to get into Nusuk. The majority will not. That's why you've got to be calm and trust the qadr of Allah and not get too carried away if you don't get in. And that's when I remind you that, yes, we had the highest people that get through in phase one because they listened to the strategy. but 200 of our group also got in. 200, which means if you scale it up ratio-wise this year, that means nearly 400 will be getting in the later phases, right? For 400 people to get in the first phase in a group like ours would be unheard of, but I think we can do it. I think we can do it. Now that we're in, now you've got all of the headaches of how slow the actual portal is. Each time that you press, each time that you go ahead, Mesa, to bring up your screen. Each time you're now inside your, all of this kind of stuff and making these kind of choices and decisions or whatever, it will keep turning, and you will start questioning yourself. And there will be big no-nos. So, for example, off the bat, if you look in the top left-hand corner, the arrow, this is what is called going back on your browser. Show it, just circle the, there. This one is a disaster to click, right? And I also now come down the page, whereas previous in the bottom corner here is a different type of going back. I'm not going to overwhelm you right now. There will be possible where live on Telegram, when all of this chaos is happening, I normally man the channel and I'm giving very military directions. Stop, go, do this, do that. It's a madness. If you see me say, start using okay, go with the previous button. What that means is that we have found that Nusuk has, in between the live day, activated a thing where it will not reset your position if you go back to previous, to almost bump the system and refresh it, but not reset the data, which will happen if you do the top one. And sometimes vice versa. So sometimes it will be if you press previous at the bottom, that's the problem. And if you do the one at the top, that's the good one. But that's very rare. Again, that's to come towards the end of the week. Another thing I'm going to show you, let's go to next, please. Yeah. Is that you as part of your strategy, right? And again, the most important thing is to recognize that you see that little circle that comes on screen that's showing that it's loading and the like. That's a clue, obviously. When you look at your browser, you'll see that little circle going around. It gives you the confidence that something is working, but you cannot panic. Now, I want you to look at, this is 304. And so on 304, we've got these flights that you can see. Now, you will know, I'm not looking at the brochure right now, so Mesa, you're probably better placed. But if this is 304, then these are ones to, these first two are avoid, right? Mesa?
304 is Canada and Manchester.
Yeah, so, and they're targeting the Saudiya one, correct?
And Qatar.
Yeah, so I'm just telling you this so that you understand what the strategy bot that's going to be telling you. So some of you are going to be told to be choosing this first flight, okay? This Saudiya Manchester flight. In 304, no Londoners are going to be getting anything, right? No Londoners. Only Manx are going to be in this group and Manchester and Canadians. And so the bot will say to you, go for the Saudiya flight, or it will tell you to do the following. So I want you to look at this one. It will say to you, go for the Qatar flight. And so it will say to you, Qatar first flight and Qatar second flight. Now, I want you to look at this right now. There is, in the weirdest, in the horriblest kind of way, the first Qatar flight is QR28, as you can see. If you can just highlight the flight number, right? And it appears again, is it 2-3 down? Right at the bottom. See how confusing they've made it for us? But our strategy, it will say to you, go for the first Qatar QR28 flight, or go for the second Qatar QR28 flight. I want you to look at the timing on that, folks. Leaving 2:55 on the 15th. If you, on the 14th, right? Now, if you go up, you'll see that the other one, exactly the same. It is 2:55. And, this is what we call PNRs. It's the same flight over two PNRs, over two different kind of like files. And so you are not going to be the one choosing this. We're going to tell you what to choose. We're going to allocate to people. You folks are going for the first Qatar 28 flight and you folks are going for the second Qatar 218 flight. Now you know. When we say first and second, we don't mean the one, you know, if you look at this right now, we do not mean here QR28 and QR16. We're saying the same flight, but the second one. So that's the first one. And the second one, go down again, Maysara, is the bottom one there. That's the second QR28 flight. So now you know when your custom advice is telling you what to do, that's what it means. Okay. Now I'm going to show you something else, which is with this particular package. If you go up to show QR16, there are two flights that are showing, which are called QR16. Now, just call it the QR16 problem. This is going to be known from Hajj as QR16. QR16 is a London flight. Highlight it at the top, please. QR16. This QR16 is a London flight. This is exactly what it is. Now, you are intelligent enough that there can't be another flight which is called QR16 leaving from Manchester at the same time and arriving in Medina at the same time. This is an error. It has been made very clear to you in the webinars. It has been made very, very clear to you in the brochures. And I'm making it clear to you again that the QR16 in both 304 and 305, these two flights exist in 304 and in 305. Both of them are actually London flights. There is no such thing as a Manchester, even though it's clearly labeled. Just click on the label there. It says Manchester. This is a mistake. It just needs to say London. Nusuk refused to fix it. Not fit for purpose. Don't know what's going on. It's a London flight. Now that you know that, and you've heard me say that multiple times, and print it, and I'm going to write it again, and the bot is going to prohibit you from it anyway, I want to say to you that it was irrelevant anyway. Why was it irrelevant? Because if I've said to you that the QR16 London flight above it is the real one, and that this second one is also another London one, as a Mank, you know that you shouldn't be going for both of them anyway, because I've just told you that they're London flights, and therefore there is going to be no Manchester, there's London people in this package. Londoners are not going to come in, so they're not going to bother themselves with the QR16 London flight, and they're not going to bother themselves with the second QR16 flight, which says Manchester, but is actually London. So I know that sounds confusing, which is why we're not going to leave that to you. We're going to tell you where to go. So I hope that makes sense about where the strategy is at. And likewise, when you come down a bit further, you will see this Stansted flight. Yes, that's the Stansted flight at the bottom. Just go up and show them the Lyon flight just above it. This is going to be removed. Okay, like we said, this will be removed. You will not. Sorry, I made a mistake. It will remain. Will it remain in 304? Oh,
both 304 and 305.
It's linked to 304, 305. Yeah. Anyway, that might remain there. That might remain there. We need to think about that. Anyway, it's irrelevant to you guys. This is a headache for us now to try to deal with, right? But anyway, so then there's a bottom flight there as well, which is not to be used as well. The bottom flight is a Stansted flight, and if you've been reading the brochure and understanding the strategy, this is a flight that's not to be looked at or used at all, because this 304 is only for the people of Manchester. And for all of the Canadians who are watching this, the reason that we have not got Canada on this is because we can't see it. Yeah, because this is geographically linked. You lot will not see all of these flights on the screen right now. You will only be seeing Canada. And I think New York is in here as well. Is it, Maysara?
New York's in 305.
No, I'm saying, is it not linked? It's not also in 30. I think it is in 304 as well. Possibly, I think it is. But regardless, if it is or isn't, okay, you are not to get it from here. You're meant to get it from 305. And there's only a couple of hundred capacity here, as you know. So that is the basis for the strategy for 304. Okay? Now, if you can go into 305, please. Do we want to? No. Let's just show what. Sorry. Let's just show what happened. So just select the second Manchester flight, because that's what they were told, which is there. You just gone past it there. Yeah. So just select it. And now we go and we check out. All right, next, and whatever. And I just want you to know, always package transportation, always package transportation. You just select that. Don't think, don't do anything. Just keep going down, down, down. And everything else is just nonsense. You just keep going and go to thingy. Don't bother wasting any time. And it's at this stage when you are checking out, down, 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 okay, that you look at the, come down, 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 right? When you press this, it will be purchase. It will not be saved configuration. So on sales day, this title will change. Now, when you click this, okay, I just also want you to, what will happen is that if the double that you selected, or the triple that you selected, or the Qatar flight that you selected is sold out, a message will come in the screen and it will say to you that your choice is not available, or sorry, it will say quota exceeded. That's what it says, quota exceeded. It will either say bed quota exceeded, flight quota exceeded, and it's at that moment that you press OK and you then get onto the previous button. Now, I want you to understand something now. This is a knowledge and a strategy in of itself. Again, going to come later. Go to the previous. I want you to now remember, everybody don't press it just yet. I'm going to give a challenge. It doesn't matter. I'm going to give everybody a challenge. Okay. Go to next. Go to next. Okay. I want you to tell me now in the chat, list for me working backwards. What are the screens that are going to come in order? Okay. So when we press this previous button now, okay. So this is it now. You're here. Go down to the bottom, press configuration, and this will be when you pressing. This will be you pressing purchase, and the thing will come on in the middle of the screen saying, "Sorry, it's sold out." Now I want you to tell me, when you press previous once, what screen will it show? When you press it twice, what screen will it show? When you press it 3 times, what screen will it show? When you press it 4 times, what screen will it show? This needs to be memorized. I will write it out for you as well. All of you should be saying, if I press it once, it will show me package transportation. If I press it twice, it will show me wheelchair and blah, blah. If I press it 3 times, it will show me flights. And if I press it 4th time, it will show me rooms. Why is that important? Because you mustn't wait for you to, so I'll give you an example. Press it once, Maysara, right? So watch what happens now. It's going to take you to the top of the page. And you're like thinking, but if you know, I want you to imagine that the message that came up on the screen said that your beds have run out. Okay? Your beds have run out. You need to go back and change. How many times do you need to press the previous button? Answer is 4 times, right? From the checkout page. And so you know that I don't need to be up here at the top of the page reading. As soon as I press it once, I scroll down and press it again. I want you to demonstrate this in real time. Okay, so go, Maysara. I want you to do it every time. This is 2nd time. Now watch now her reaction now when it loads. She's straight down right to the bottom because she knows I've still got to press it now another 2 times, but only once the page has loaded. Pressing it 3 times, 4 times now is not going to help. We're straight down, right? I'm pressing it again. Do you get the point, everybody? So by the way, I think I got it wrong, didn't I? So I did get it wrong. It wasn't wheelchair that was a 4. It was flight that was 3, or flight. Sorry, yeah. Back 1 was package transportation. What was back 2?
Flights.
Back 3 was wheelchair. Back 4 was rooms. Yeah, right. And so that's part of your strategy as well. That when you need to change your configuration, you know how many times you've got to go back, and you can quickly scroll down because you know you've got to press previous again. I know I've got to press previous again. So that's another tip for later. All right, let's go back to just empty the package. And we're just going to now just load up 305 quickly, and then we'll take a few questions, and then I want to get the video out on the channel because it's going to get unnecessarily late. So, $305, everything the same, just different set of flights. $305 is for the American camp only, as you know, right? And this is all about maintaining same room, as you know. Okay, we've gone that now. Keep everything the same. Flights, this is for the Americans. You've got the New York option and you've got 2 Washington options. You might always avoid all of these. Never select any of them. Keep going. Never select Qurbani and Hadi and Adahi. We'll do that over there in cash and outside of this rubbish, right? When it comes to flights, we're going to now see lots of Manchester and London flights. I'll tell you about that in a second. But this is now really about the Americans, right? The Americans are going to have their options for Washington, 2 flights for Washington, and 1 for New York. And you might have a preference, and you look at the Etihad one, say, I want to go Etihad, I want to go Emirates. Put it down sorry, not put it down. I get that you want that, and you're going to ask for Washington, and that's fine. And there are more seats in Washington, by the way, than JFK. And JFK people need to be ready to be moved to Washington. I'm telling you that right now. Okay, get ready for that. Because the JFK capacity is not very high. Okay, so Washington is higher. Just giving you that heads up. So if you have a same-ish equidistant kind of challenge to get to Washington and JFK, but you are thinking, I'm just going to go JFK because it's easier. Let me tell you off the bat, my dear Americans, that Washington probably has, I think, about double the capacity of JFK. So off the bat, you've got a better chance if you put in, when the strategy form comes out in the next hour, that if you select JFK, we will put you towards JFK, but it will become oversubscribed and we're going to move you to Washington. Whereas if you start with Washington, you might have like a kind of a clearer idea of what's going on. And so, you might have an easier kind of checkout process. So I'm just giving that heads up, all right, that you will be asked, you want to go from JFK to Washington? I'm just telling you, if you're next to JFK, choose it. If you're anything from an hour away from JFK or a couple of hours away, then that means you're not that far away from Washington either. Focus on Washington. And Americans, remember, like all of the cities will need to, keep an eye on Musafir. It's going to be your backup. Again, I repeat to you now, you must have contingency. The difference is that normally when people have a contingency, it's because they're going for a package that has 100 spaces and it has 2 flights and they need a package contingency. So I'm going for A100 and I'm going to choose B1200 as my contingency, and I'm going to do Ikramud A403 as my third contingency. I repeat to you, my brothers and sisters, the stats are there. If you think I'm lying to you, he doesn't trust, he doesn't, he's looking for his own interest or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Bro, the poll is on the channel. You can go and do the math yourself. It's a very, very straightforward poll. It says, who is 100% only going for Hajj Uday'i? And it's taken out the people that are maybe going, separate number. Don't include that. Don't include the rest of the people. Just include the people who have said we're definitely going. You can see that it's 600 people. Out of that 600 people, probably 100 are just kind of putting it in just because they think that it gives them advantage. They're not intending to go on this package. It is what it is, guys. This is just how it is. They're not intending. But they know that the people who say yes, they get an extra level of support. And so that's not even a true 600. Probably closer to a 400, right? So when we say to you that your plan B, your plan C, your plan D, and your plan E is all a plan AE, you are just going to a different flight. The package has the largest capacity, I keep repeating to you, on all of Nusuk. It has the largest capacity, 305, just anywhere. There isn't a program that big. But then when you know that actually all 3 are the same program, and it's 820 or 810 or 808. or 820. One of those three figures, either 8, 10, or 20. I can't remember, but it's over 800. Then this is your contingency plan. Just another flight, just another city, just another phase, just another Musafir flight. So please do not worry about that. Right now, for the UK folks and for the Europeans, again, the Paris flights are going to be removed. The Lyon flights are going to be removed. I want you to remember that, okay? They're going to be removed. They're not going to be an option here. From a UK point of view, the Manchester folks shouldn't be in here. It should only be Londoners. Now, I repeat to you folks, if you are a Londoner, then, and you've got some flights which are crazy, like this Egypt Air flight, you would have seen it in the brochure. Ignore it. Complete waste of time. Nobody, and it should be destroying their Medina experience and coming so late. Even if it seems really convenient for Germans, that's not convenient. And why the hell would you come on the 17th just to go on a group flight? That's crazy. You'd try to get Musafir flight, 100%. You'd go and take a Vienna option. You would wait for another option. You would even, it's crazy. Don't take this kind of flight. Now, if you go up and look at the options, you'll see that all of these London options are going to be available for you. Now, you look at this first one, that's going to be a flight that you're going to avoid. Everybody's going to avoid. Why? Because it's a Manchester Saudia flight. Manchester folks shouldn't be in this group 305. They're not allowed in. Don't go there. This is for Londoners. So Londoners are only in here. Manchester, that doesn't apply. This is a prime flight that the Londoners are going to target, but you aren't going to target it. You're going to say London Heathrow. We are going to apportion you on this flight or the next one, which is going to be this Qatar 16. Now, here's the important part here, guys. You see their Manchester flight right there? Again, everyone to ignore it. It is a Manchester flight, but there are no Mancs in here, right? Because you've listened and therefore you're not touching this flight. You're going to get this flight, this exact flight. Look, it's the same flight, 255 on 14th, right? You're going to get it from 304. You're going to get it from 304. You're not going to be in here. So Londoners are now going to be told the first Qatar flight. But now this is the skill, folks. You're going to be told get the second Qatar flight. Where is the second Qatar flight? Right there. This says Manchester, but what did we tell you? It is actually a London flight. And so when you are told in your strategy sheet, it'll be a PDF that it will say your name and it will say to you, go for the second Qatar flight. This is the flight it means. Look carefully, folks, get rid of the thing, please. Look at it closely. You can see QR16 London. That's Qatar flight number 1 from London. And then you'll see QR16 again, Manchester. This is London flight number 2. Because as I said again and again and again, that Manchester typo is an error on Nusuk. It should say London. Highlight the word Manchester, please, Maysara. It says Manchester. It's meant to say London. This is now known to you as the second Qatar QR16 flight. Is that clear, everybody? And then some of you will be then sent, if you come down, to the Stansted one, which is, again, that Manchester flight to be avoided. And there is the Stansted one there. Listen, it is cheaper, but it comes kind of late, man. You're missing out 2 complete days, right? It's like, you look at that. It's not impossible late. What have we said in our advice? We've said that if you're getting a Musafir flight or you're getting anything, then, whether you're getting one of the weird group flights, especially, this is not so relevant in the early phases, frankly. This is something to think about. And the phase 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever, how many phases they're going to be. This is going to go on for a couple of weeks, by the way, up until Ramadan. Again, don't stress. The games only start on Sunday. And it ain't over until the fat lady sings. And Danish is not singing. So we got plenty of time to work out strategy and get better timed flights. Don't force yourself into things. The reality is that this is not the worst arrival time because our first activity is going to be the Quba walk as a group activity after Fajr on the 16th. Okay? But I will be doing it again anyway on the morning of the 17th as well. But I have put a red line, a firm stop, a hard stop on people who are serious about their Hajj experience to not come past 3, 4 o'clock in the morning on the 16th. It's got to be a hard stop. And I'm telling you this for those who are looking at Musafir options. We're going to choose now a Musafir option to look at. So anyway, I hope you've understood the strategy now. Now imagine that you are a Musafir person. You might not be involved in here. Later on, guys, yes, I know I've told you that you're going to be going to 307 for Musafir, but I also want you to know that later on, you might be doing Musafir from here. Why? Because this has a huge capacity. That's why. 307 only has 196 places, right? And we know that more than 100 people will be taking a Musafir flight. So people over there, that's great. But also know that it can be used here. And also know that there is a slight difference. This is going to become relevant later. So just go, Musafir, please, Maisara. So there is a slight difference in the rules based upon the 304, 305, and 307. It tells you this, that you can enter from the 15th, right? And that is because of the hotel contract. But let's just put in now London. Let's do multi-city. And always do multi-city, folks, okay? Because you need to go multi-city. So London, we're going to Medina. So we've got Medina. And on the return, we're going to do Jeddah back to London. So that's Cardiff to London. And we will look at this option here. Just change the return date to the 31st. And let's just look at what we're seeing. Let's have a look and see what it's giving us. Now, the rules that allow you to select the flight or not are honestly so nonsensical, makes no sense. There's no consistency. Some of them will say it's allowed. Some of them will say it's not allowed. And that is why, brothers and sisters, I've been saying play around, play around, play around. What does it mean, keep playing around? Look at all kinds of different kind of options. So is it allowing us to select that one? It is, which is good. What's the details? Let's have a look at the details of this Pegasus airline flight. Got a bag, which is nice. So it leaves on Friday the 15th. Don't like that. But what time is it arriving? 2:40. This is bearable. Look at this. This is bearable, folks. Okay? Not jumping for joy, but you missed Jum'ah. Wasn't the end of the world, but yeah, because we're not going for Jum'ah, but it's nice, isn't it? Right? But you got there, as I said, pre-Fajr on the 16th. You got there pre-Fajr on the 16th. All right, let's have a look at that Saudi one, which is a very suspiciously low price. You can imagine that to double or triple, and believe me. People are asking about the e-wallets. I said 46K, but if you put 50 in, it'd be great. Right. Let's have a look here. This is arriving on Friday night. Yeah, slightly better, but crazy price, by the way. That's not going to remain that price, okay? But keep your eye on it. You should write that down. Let's have a look at the return. Just scroll down. Just scroll down. No. Just, scroll down in the same. No. In the same flight details. I want to see the return.
Oh no, I think my systems are not.
Is that playing around now? Yeah. Is it Musafir playing around?
Either that or I've run out of my session.
Anyway, whatever. So we said 31st. That's a great time. 10 o'clock. That's a great flight out. Listen, guys, mark this flight. I like it already. I like this flight. All right. As a second choice, I mean. Now, here, this is obviously a crash. I know that you're going to see the biggest haram done of all time now, but we're going to do it. Go nuclear. Maisara, refresh the page. But just for our thingy purposes. Right? So that messed up. Anyway, we could do this again and again and again. But let's not do that, by the way, this time. Let's not do that this time. I want you to listen now. I just want to show you one final thing. And that is that, you know that I told you 46K. That should cover whether I told you why I came to the value 46K, right? I chose the most expensive rooms, which is double. And so this is me assuming you go for quad. You didn't get the quad, so you had to move to the double, and you got the double. So I put it to that amount. Then I said, what could be the most expensive flight? The most expensive group flight is about 11,000 riyals. So I made it 12,000. Then I added on another 1,000, and I came to 46K. I said, that's like extreme scenario. Now, a person might turn around and say, yeah, but you know what? it might be that all the flights are gone and Musafir comes back with a 15K ticket. Now that was a 5K ticket. If it comes back with a 15K ticket, you've only got two options. One, you trusted your own gut and you put in 50,000 riyals and you probably will then be covered for it. Okay? Or plan B. What is plan B? Imagine that you have made a mistake somewhere along the line and you only got 42K in your account or 46K in your account. And the Musafir flights that are offering themselves are too expensive. Now we go nuclear contingency plan Z. You go straight to the cheapest possible flight that gets into Saudi Arabia. And this is what you've got to be practicing now for the next 3-4 days. What are they? Put in, I don't know what they are, by the way, because I've had no time to look. But let's go with, what's Kuwait? Put in Kuwait City. Okay. You got to think of the Gulf countries and Turkey. The Sabiha Airport, Istanbul Airport in Turkey. And you got to be thinking, you got to be thinking all of the Gulf hubs. So Muscat from Oman, Kuwait City from Kuwait. Yeah, let's do that. Let's see what happens. And obviously, you've got to keep playing with the dates as well. Really important that you play with dates and you know, something that comes back rejected on the 31st, you go and look at. So Bahrain, yeah. What's the capital of Bahrain? I forgot what's Manama? I can't remember what it is. And then Dubai, Doha, and the like. This is interesting. Royal Jordanian flights. Let's have a look here. Wow, this is so interesting. Just come down, scroll down. Let me just have a general overview. Fly Dubai. Yeah, let's have a look here. Baggage included. Click on that Fly Dubai. Let's have a look at this. Let's have a look
this
at
one?
This. Yeah, let's have a look at this. Now, you're setting off, right? Now, guys, do you understand what I'm saying here? Look, yeah, you can't hate that, can you? Like, you're going to be at home. You're probably going to go up a bit. You're going to fly into Kuwait, right? And get there for like morning. You might need to start like on Thursday sometime. Then wait around. Then you got a flight at 4:25 from Kuwait. It goes via Dubai, and you got a little cheeky bag in there as well. And 20 kg, not bad. All right, not great, but not bad. And you arrive nighttime. So it's not the best in terms of arrival, right? But you can play around and have a look. Oh, look, there's another one there. Yeah, go to the next one. Yeah, that's better. Look at that one.
Oh, I can't click on it.
Yeah, it's crashing and playing. So there you go, guys. This is now you're seeing what happens. Okay, you are seeing the potential problem of Musafir. This glitch, this kind of, you know, kind of like bakwas that you're seeing. That's unfortunately one of the realities of the of Musafir, which is why this is your contingency plan, right? Now, by the way, if you've prepared properly, what have you done? What have I told you to do? I already told you. So I have a feeling that the reason the glitch is there is that it's basically saying that if you look at one flight, that's all we're giving you. If you start looking for a second one, like just keep scrolling, keep going down, and don't open any, so you can see that it's working. You see, that's also important to predict the glitch. So far, what have we seen? The glitch has been that when you play around and open one, it's not going to let you open a second one. It's then going to glitch. Now, if you've been listening to me and you've done your practice already and you've already know and written down what flight you're going to go for, you're not going to do that, are you? So, for example, let's say that you've already looked. Let's go up now slow. Let's find a nice one. Let's find something that's got a nice morning arrival. Can we see one? So I saw an afternoon arrival. Not that one. Keep going. So it's this one here. No, it's not. Keep going. It's that one. Yeah. So look at, just don't click on anything. So if you look at this, yeah, I like this because you're getting into midi in the afternoon. You're getting a good night's sleep, right? Now just press select. That's what you're going to do in the actual moment itself. Can you see now it didn't glitch? Now the point is that come down. and submit. Okay. And then what you're going to realize is that the idea of, and then this will happen and it will keep going. This will be something you've got to get used to. You don't do anything. You don't refresh the page. You don't do anything of any sort. You just say, okay, always okay. Now, the key that I wanted to bring to your attention, which is important on that strategy, is that if you've prepared before, in the sales day, you're not doing all that kind of rubbish. Yeah? So the glitch is not no longer a glitch. You use it to your advantage and you just go straight out. So if we come down to the bottom, oh yeah, package transportation. Yep, because we didn't do that. And now when you come down to the bottom again on sales day, the only time that you'd be doing this is that if your place was not available. What do I mean by that? This button will say purchase. Now just click it now. And again, like I said in the previous presentation, right? Custom flights will not be saved, okay? Because that's just the reality. The price is going to go up when you do it on thingy. But at least now it's configured. This is what we call configured. You are now configured, and we're going to be doing this. Now, I just want you to know that on the sales day, when you click here on the basket, okay, it will actually show you that the button will say checkout. So configure package will change to checkout. And you'll just log into Nusuk and click. So on Friday night or on Saturday night, we're going to be practicing configuring using the strategy that we're sending out. So we're going to collect the data today, and we're going to present the data to you on Thursday, inshallah. That's going to give you 2 days of following the strategy and locking it in and configuring your package so it's in your basket, and then practicing as well, taking it out, putting it in, taking it out, putting it in, knowing that when I get into Nusuk on the final day, on sales day, all I'm actually doing, inshallah, even though I've given you a full tutorial, is actually just going to my basket, just pressing checkout, and that's it. But you have to prepare for worst case scenario. Worst case scenario is that by the time you've got in and done that, the double rooms that you had requested have sold out. And so when you press checkout, it will go chuk, 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 and it'll say quota exceeded in double rooms. And then you have to go all the way back and reconfigure everything. Or when you come to this screen and you just press checkout, and then it says that the Qatar flight is gone, you have to go to Saudi, or then you got to go back and change it. So I hope all that makes sense. I hope you understand all the various options. 307, you can, I think we leave 307 for now because it's the same, right? We can stop the screen share now. And I want you to know now that the principles have not changed in anything that we've been covering over the last few sessions. All of you now know the various meanings of the options. The video that's coming out now in the next few minutes that are going to come onto the actual portal, that is going to now show you how the bot works. You all now need to watch that. So I'm not even going to take any Q&A because there's no point you doing any questions now anyway, right? I want you to just focus on the video that we're releasing. That will be in the next 5-10 minutes. Watch it and make sure that you follow its instructions. This video will show you that when you receive a message on Telegram, only the lead pilgrim will receive it. That's the first thing. So not everybody that's in the group is going to receive it. It's only the lead pilgrim that's going to receive it. Okay? Whoever receives it, if you received it, it's because you're meant to receive it. When you receive it, obviously, if you're, not going to Hajj or you're just a helper, you don't touch this at all. And so you see a warning sign. If you're going on another Ikram al-Dayf package or Al-Bayt package or blah, blah, blah package, you are not to touch the bot. This is strategy only for 304, 305, and 307. And the video will show you that when you receive it, answer the questions like this. So you put in your full name and your phone number, and then you choose which gateway. Gateway means which departure airport. So I'll choose Stansted or I'll choose Washington or whatever. And then it's going to ask you for how many triple spaces do you want? Or skip that. How many quad spaces do you want? Okay, skip that. How many? Then you choose each one in that thingy. How many numbers? How many of you are going? What are so that's why it's going to lead pilgrim. How many people of you in your Nusuk account? Answer for your Nusuk account only. If you know that your mom and dad are in a second nusuk account, but they're going with you, you are not answering for them. You got to make sure that when they get their message, they are the ones that are going to respond for that message accordingly. So watch the video as a demo, and then we're about to release the Kraken, okay? And you answer that, and now you've got to give us time to start analyzing it against all of the options, putting it into the data, let it do the sums, and let's see, inshallah, if we can make it work. Okay, folks? So for the sake of time, because it's a weeknight as well, right? We're going to not take any questions now. If you have questions in the chat, we're more than happy to do that. But now the focus, the absolute focus, is on focusing on the video of the strategy of the bot, and it's going to be released in the next imminent. We're going to give you X amount of time to watch the video, and now that we know that it's done, then we're going to release the bot. Same bot that you answered questions for to get into the channel. Same bot will ask you this new set of questions. The same bot, if you go back to it again and re-click on it again by mistake, because now for the next 24 hours, we're going to keep posting on the channel. Have you filled in the bot? Have you filled in the bot? The bot means the form. Yeah. Have you filled in the form? Have you filled in the form? And if you have doubts, you shouldn't have any doubts. Once you've done, you're done. That's it. Okay. You're not getting an email. You're not getting a message. It would say in your account, you're done. We've registered your choice. If you try to click it again, it will say, you're done. We've registered your choice. So I want you to, keep that in mind. Okay, folks? And carry on asking questions. Tonight, for all the Americans and Canadians, there's going to be a session which we're going to advertise as well. It's going to be at 12 o'clock. It's 12 o'clock UK time. And it's 7 p.m. EST. This is not about our strategy. This is more for the wider people, for the rest of the Hujjaj generally, just as a service to them, like the Ramadan talk. And what we're looking at is basically the Majar al-Kabsh camp versus Maisim, because a lot of people in America, they're really obsessed with Majar al-Kabsh. Yeah, so we need to wake them up and realize that they're not going to get to go to Hajj if they're getting silly about that. So it's just, helping them out. And then tomorrow, we have a dedicated session for the Americans and Canadians at 8:30 EST. That's going to be going over things. Then we have a next session on Thursday as well. And in the meantime, calls will continue. Our responses to you in the chat will continue. Please help the rest of your Hujjaj. My brothers and sisters, I want to thank you all for being so helpful to the new people that have been coming in, especially to a lot of the Americans, especially to a lot of the Ikram al-Dayf people that you've noticed that are coming in and asking very basic questions, very simple questions. That's because they've just joined the game. They don't know what's going on. They've also come from a place where they're not being as educated on these matters like you are. There is a difference here. Now you're starting to see it and feel it. So please give them that little bit of love and that patience, and tell them very politely, when they ask, we want to go, where's the guide for 402? Or say, hey, we've got your people here, don't worry. And reference them to the wider team. You'll see Aisha, Nichols, you see Saad, you'll see Ingi in there. There are other people that are there, our friends from other partners, that they will help them as well. So show that kind of spirit. And I'm going to jump straight in. 8 p.m. Does it say DST webinar? I think that it's not DST, but it's I think it's. I'll confirm the time for tonight. I think it's 7 p.m. EST. Might be 8 p.m. I'll confirm it soon, but I think it's 7 p.m. All right, guys. Barakallahu feekum. We'll see you in the chat. Jazakumullah khair. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka Allahumma wa atubu ilayk. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.